Hello and welcome back to another episode of Feel Good with Helprr. Today I want to talk about something that I think is going to resonate with a lot of you. And before I dive in, I want to be really clear. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice here. What I'm doing is opening up a conversation about something that doesn't really get talked about nearly enough. So here it is. What if the anxiety, the depression, the mood swings you have been dealing with, what if they are not actually what you've been told they are? I had a message recently from someone using Helprr who said something like, I have been in therapy for 2 years. I've tried 4 different medications. I do all the right things, exercise, sleep, journaling, but I still feel like I'm losing my mind 2 weeks out of every month. My doctor keeps telling me I need to manage my stress better. And here's the thing that made me want to talk about this. She had just been diagnosed with PCOS, and suddenly everything made sense. It wasn't that therapy wasn't working, it wasn't that she wasn't trying hard enough. Her body was dealing with something that no amount of positive thinking was going to fix on its own. There's this huge gap in how we talk about mental health and women's health. We talk about PMS, that's acceptable. We talk about postpartum depression, finally, thank God. But there's this entire landscape of hormonal conditions that impact mental health that we just don't talk about. Perimenopause, PCOS, endometriosis, thyroid conditions, these aren't rare. These are incredibly common. And they don't just cause physical symptoms, they can fundamentally change your mental and emotional state. Let me paint you a picture of what this actually looks like, because I think a lot of people are living this without realizing it. Imagine you are in your late 30s or 40s. Suddenly you're anxious all the time. You're not sleeping well. You're irritable in a way that feels out of character. Your brain feels foggy. Maybe you go to your doctor and they diagnose you with anxiety or depression, give you an SSRI, and send you on your way. But what if it's actually perimenopause? And I'm not saying medication is wrong, not at all, but what if there's a hormonal piece that no one's looking at? Or you're in your 20s, you're exhausted constantly. Your periods are irregular or really painful. You're gaining weight no matter what you do, or your mood is all over the place. You feel depressed, but it also feels different, physical, like something is genuinely off in your body. Could be PCOS, could be endometriosis, could be thyroid issue. These conditions don't just affect your reproductive system, they affect your brain chemistry, your energy, your emotional regulation. And here's what frustrates me, and I've heard this from so many women. A lot of us are getting diagnosed with mental health conditions when the root cause is actually hormonal, or we're told our symptoms are psychosomatic, that we need to relax more, that it's stress. Now, let me be super clear. Mental health conditions are real and valid regardless of cause. Anxiety is anxiety, depression is depression, and they deserve treatment. But why you are experiencing these things matters for getting the right support. If your mood swings are connected to your menstrual cycle, if your anxiety spikes before your period, if you have other symptoms like irregular periods, fatigue, weight changes, hair loss, or pain, these are clues. Your body is trying to tell you something. I think about all the women who have spent years thinking something is fundamentally wrong with them psychologically when really their body is dealing with a hormonal imbalance that's treatable. Thinking they're not trying hard enough, thinking they're broken, that if they just meditated more or had a better mindset, they would be fine. And the medical system hasn't always served us well here. Historically, women's pain and symptoms have been dismissed. We've been told things are just part of being a woman, or that it's normal to feel terrible. We've been under-treated and under-researched. So, what do we do with this information? First, and I cannot stress this enough, I'm not telling you to diagnose yourself or to dismiss any mental health diagnosis you have received. That's not what this is about. What I'm saying is you're allowed to advocate for yourself, you're allowed to ask questions, you're allowed to seek out healthcare providers who take your symptoms seriously. If you are experiencing mental health symptoms that seem connected to your cycle, or that started around a specific time in your life, or that come with other physical symptoms, symptoms, it's worth having a conversation with a healthcare provider who understands hormonal health. And I know that's easier said than done. Not everyone has access to great healthcare. Not everyone has doctors who listen. But even just knowing this information can help you feel less alone, less like you are imagining things. Here's where emotional wellness comes in and why we talk about this stuff at Helprr.ai. Even if you're working with doctors, even if you're getting medical treatment, you still need support for what you're going through emotionally, because living with unexplained symptoms is traumatic. Being dismissed or misdiagnosed is traumatic. Feeling disconnected from your own body is really hard. And sometimes the conversation you need to have isn't about fixing the problem. It's about processing how it feels to live in a body that's going through something you don't fully understand yet. If you're listening to this and something is clicking, I want you to know you're not crazy, you're not making it up, you're not weak for struggling. Your body is a complex system and hormones are powerful. They affect your mood, your energy, your ability to cope with stress, your sleep, your cognition, everything. The fact that we don't talk about this more is a failing of our culture and our medical system, not a failing of you. Here's what I can tell you from a wellness perspective, not a medical one. Track your symptoms, notice patterns. When do you feel worse? When do you feel better? Is there a connection to your cycle, to certain times of day? This information is valuable when you're talking to healthcare providers. And be specific when you talk to doctors. Don't just say, I feel anxious. Say, I experienced severe anxiety for about 10 days before my period, along with insomnia and brain fog. This has been happening for 6 months. Then, if a provider dismisses you, it's okay to seek a second opinion. You deserve to be heard. Look, I wish I could give you a neat solution here. I wish I could tell you exactly what to do. But what I can do is shine a light on this and say this matters. Your experience matters, and you deserve care that looks at the whole picture, mind and body together. If this resonated with you, please know you're not alone in this. Whether you're navigating perimenopause, dealing with PCOS, living with endometriosis, managing thyroid issues, or just wondering if something hormonal might be affecting your mental health, there are others who get it. And remember, Helprr is here to support your emotional wellness through all of it, because even when the root cause is physical, the emotional impact is real, and you deserve support for that as well. Take care of yourself, listen to your body, and don't let anyone convince you that what you're experiencing is not real. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.